Hello everybody, welcome back to Scalability with Vue.js. This is part 4. Hopefully this should be pretty short. We're just going to talk about filters. Now filters are really great. They were in AngularJS. I love filters. I think there's all kinds of really cool filters out there that you can make for yourself. So we're going to go into making them very modular and very easy to add and use. So we're going to get started. First things first, we're going to create a directory and we're going to call it filters. And all filters will live in here. In this directory, we're going to create two files. One is index.js and one is the actual filter we're going to make. In this case, we're going to make a capitalized filter. Capitalize.js. All right. So if you remember, if you saw my last video, you watched one of my modules here. I have this index.js here with this camel case require module thing. A little scary looking, but once you really get the gist of it, it makes a lot of sense. So we're going to create a similar thing in here, so that way we can just add a file into our filters directory. We don't have to plug it in anywhere, and immediately that filter is usable based off of the file name. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to import camel case again from lodash/camel case, and then we're going to const require module equals require dot context false .js. We want to match all JS extensions, and the $sign just means that's the end of the match. I did this backwards. There we go. All right, and then modules equals an array. Now, I'm not going to really go into all this, everything in this file, because I explained it pretty well in my last video, part 2 of scalability with Vue.js. So if you want to go in there and look at that, but there is a difference here. This is an object, and this one is an array. The reason being is it's just easier depending on the format we want. Now, our store requires that our modules is in an object format. So that's why our modules printed out here is in an object. But in our filters, what we're going to do is we're going to loop over them. So it's much easier if they're just in an array. So require module dot keys dot for each file name. We got to do the same thing we did last time. If file name is not equal to ./index.js. You can do a match here if you want, but it doesn't make a difference really how you do it. Const name equals camel case. File name dot replace. And we're going to do this crazy match again. Escape the period, escape the /, or escape the .js. So any periods, any /, basically it's matching this period, this /, and the .js. We want to replace that. We're going to look for a global, so that way it looks across the whole string for any of those matches, and replace it with nothing. Okay, modules.push, and we're going to push a module with name and file, which is require module file name, and then .default. Okay, then we're export default modules. So we're building the array out with an object this time instead of the other one where we're actually creating an object with here's the name. It's the same thing as the name before. The name equals the module. In this case, we're going to have a name as a property in the object, and then the file of the object equals the module. And that's just easier for us when we start looping through it. So in our main.js here, what we're going to do is import filters from ./filters. That just automatically exports the index file. So our export default of the index file is our modules, which is the array. Then we're going to come down here, make a little space, and we're going to do filters dot for each filter, and it's super simple. It's just view dot filter, And view.filter takes two parameters. I don't know if this makes any sense, but it doesn't really. Callback function. Anyways, it takes two parameters. One is the filter name. It's just a string. And then the next is the actual module. So we have filter.name and filter.file, which is the two pieces here, name and file. So this is ES6 syntax. It creates a key with the word name and the value, which is the actual value of the name. I love ES6. It's very, very nice. Now, in our capitalized actual implementation, we're going to have, there's a lot of ways to do capitalize. This is just one way. So export default, and this is going to be a function that takes the value. And then if we want to just check to see if it's not the value, then we return an empty string. And if the value there, we want to make sure it is a string in case it's a integer, a list of integers. It could be anything. We don't want errors to fire off and kill our app. So we just want to avoid that. Even though you can't capitalize a integer, it just still won't look, it won't change the actual string. So what we're going to return is value.char at 0.2 uppercase. So that'll capitalize the first character of the string, and then value.slice 1, which will return the rest of the string except for the first one. It'll start at the first index. So if the string is ABC, then 1 will skip the A and return B and C. So it'll capitalize A and then concatenate this rest of the string onto it. So this is one implementation of doing a capitalize. It really blows my mind how JavaScript doesn't have capitalize as a string method. It's actually really simple to add it onto the string prototype. You can just do string.prototype equals this method exactly. Well, instead of value, it's this. So return this dot char at to, and the rest of basically this stuff here. So it's saying, so anywhere you would do dot capitalize on a string, that would work. But it's advised not to override the prototype of any of the default classes in JavaScript, just in case other libraries or things are using it. It's just easier to do it this way anyways. Well, not easier, but it's safer. It's safer to do it this way. So I'm going to show you how this looks. We see our code just sitting here. No big deal. Nothing's changed. Let's go into our component here. Let's take the word viewify, and what we're going to do is create a bracket system here, and we'll just have the string viewify, all lowercase, and we do a pipe, and that's how you would use the filter. So then we want to have the capitalized filter. So you can't really notice the difference, but if I remove capitalize here, you'll see. Now it's lowercase. Now it's, once it reloads, reload. No, did I not save it? Capitalize. Well, now it's breaking on me. If I could spell. All right, sorry about that. So it capitalized that word for me. And there's all kinds of different filters you can do. You can do like a lot of times I'll use Moment. If you're not familiar with Moment, it's a date parsing library, which is really nice, really easy to use. It gives you stuff like you see where it says a few seconds ago. This is similar to what Moment does. Is it takes a date, compares it to your current date, and gives you human readable sayings. It might have something like 3 days ago or something. But yeah, so Moment's really nice. You can have all kinds of filters, such as for money, if you want to convert money, and so forth and so on. There's lots of different ways to use it. But that concludes my fourth set on the series of View Scalable. You can see how our project is starting to expand. we got a lot of folders here in our root directory here. So we got views, plugins, modules, layout, filters, components, and assets. And one might look at this project like, oh, that's a lot of stuff. But it's really not a whole lot of stuff when you really understand it, and it really saves you a lot, because when you start dumping things into all kinds of different files, you can add filters to files individually. It's not, I wouldn't suggest it, because, well, what if you need to use that filter somewhere else? Or what if you don't know what that filter, what's causing this to happen on that screen? You have to go hunt it down. And so you have to find, you might have to search through module after module, component after all this to find out what's actually making this change on this object or whatever. So to have all your filters in one spot, your plugins, modules, all that stuff. And we're going to go through one more. It's going to be config, and that's going to be the next video to really break down the configurations of Vue. You can add all your configurations in one spot. But thank you guys for watching, and hit the like and subscribe. Let me know how you feel about the video.